All right, so let's start jumping into looking at how much other drivers made last week. See if anyone else capitalized from the strike. So before I do, I always point this out. This is my area. The average Uber driver is making $22 an hour in my area. The average Lyft driver is making $17 an hour in my area. And this is up 10%. Like I just showed you guys how much I'm making on average. Even after taxes and expenses, I'm making $32.11 after taxes and expenses in comparison to other people in my market. That's almost double, a little less than double. Two more dollars, it would be double. So I'm essentially doubling what I'm making compared to other drivers in my market. Here's the leaderboard. I made $1,257 last week, which to me, that my minimum goal is $2,000. And that's high minimum. That's because I want to make 100K this year. 2,000 times 52 is 4,000, something like that. That's what my goal is. I think any driver who can make 1,200 a week and they have a good expense ratio, they're doing okay. I think that, you're doing okay. Like I worked maybe 40 hours last week and I made 1,257. I think that's okay. If that's what you're doing, I think you're doing okay. Even at 1,000, depending on your expenses, depending on how many incomes are in your household, that's okay, right? I want you to be better than okay, but I think that's okay. So number one last week is from Bridgeport, Connecticut. I don't know how that happened. I think there was a snowstorm. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not looking it up. But the number one person made $3,472 last week with Uber and Lyft from Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's a lot of money. I've never made that much. I've only ever made 3,000. And I could have made more, but a lot would have to go right for me to make 3,500. And I actually don't think I could probably barely do it. And it would have to be like the best week of the year in my market. So I could probably do it, but man, shout out to whoever did that. You did a great job. Number two is Austin, Texas, $2,667. Number three, Spartanburg, South Carolina, not far from where I am. I believe that's a college town. And he made $2,637 on just Uber Eats, Lyft, and DoorDash. So he's probably making some really good money on food, probably hops on Lyft in between, but I'm assuming he's doing very, very well in that town with the food delivery. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, $2,548 with DoorDash. Bloomington, Bedford, $2,503 on Uber. New York, my hometown, $2,467 on DoorDash. We got California in the mix, $2,367 at number 7. At number 8, we have New Orleans, $2,347. Number 9, Arizona jumping in with DoorDash and Grubhub at $2,333. San Francisco's in here at $2,254 using Uber and Uber Eats. And that is the top 10 drivers on this app, which you can find in the description. But keep in mind, this only shows what people on the app who have the app downloaded and have connected their accounts have made. This isn't all Uber and Lyft drivers. These guys probably aren't the highest earners, period, right? Number 1 might be number 1, but number 2 might be number 5. Number 7 might be number 14. There are other drivers out there that are not on this list, and we don't know how many hours these guys are working. I wish that it showed us this, but this is, I think, the best place to see how much drivers are making in other markets. And if you ever want to know specific markets, right, you can go, there's a button here, it says all metros, and it shows you all the different markets, but it is only in America. We tried looking for Canada before, and it's not located here. Let's see how many drivers made over $1,000 last week, right? We might have to scroll for a little bit. And I do this not because I'm saying that you should just make $1,000 every week. I do this because it gives me a sense of how well or poorly the rideshare market across the nation is doing. And as I've seen since January, since December, we're slowly on the up and up, right? There are specific events that happen that might cause a region of America to make more money. For example, if there's a snowstorm in the Northeast, you're gonna see a bunch of Eastern states up there, and no Western states were there like a couple weeks ago. This is the longest I've scrolled ever since I've been doing this live stream to get to the $1,000 mark. So we're already seeing that there's over 250 drivers that have made over $1,000, and we're only at the $1,200 range. Like I said, if you're making this, that's okay, right? Don't see me making $2,000 a week and you're not making $2,000 a week. You feel bad. I want you to make $2,000 a week, but if you're able to do $1,000 a week, you're probably doing better than most of America, not just with rideshare, period. So if you're a single person making $1,000 a week, hopefully you're not a single parent. It's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. If you have your expenses in check, which honestly, the problem with most Americans is our expenses are unchecked. We go and make more money and then we also increase our expenses. Just I'm still scrolling. So I'm talking your ears off, but it's because I'm still scrolling. And we're like 500 deep. We're getting close though. But man, the average, I think this is last week was probably the best week overall, right? For drivers, because this is a lot of scrolling that I'm doing right now. We're so close. We're at 1002, 1001. All right, here we go. The cutoff. The cutoff is Memphis, Tennessee. He made $999. Someone needs to go and tip him. But 703 drivers across America who have this app made over $1,000. I'm glad. I want you guys to be making money. I know winter is really bad for rideshare in most markets, and we suffered this winter. This winter was the hardest winter I've seen since the pandemic, and I started during the pandemic. I'm happy that overall more people are making more money.